Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is the greatest MCU show and is some true peak. I gotta be honest with y'all, I just finished watching episodes 9 and 10, and if the entire season blew me away, then I don't even know what to say these 2 episodes did, because these were some straight up peak. Hi, I'm Chris. If you're new here to the Dork Squad, I like to yap about nerdy so if you enjoy it, please like, comment, and subscribe, and if you dislike it with all that YouTuber stuff out of the way. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, man. I've been glazing this show for the past, 3 or 4 weeks now, and I'm so glad to say it paid off. These 2 episodes, this season finale was fantastic. Let's go right in, starting with, obviously, episode 9. This was a really fun episode. Finally, after 8 episodes of wanting to see it, getting teased by it, we see the original suit in its full glory, and honestly, it does look really good as it can look for this show. Keep that in mind. Briefly, I've touched on it on every video, but the animation of these 2 episodes, it was a weird balance of, man, the quality went up so much, but also kind of went down a little bit. That's all I'll say about the animation. It looked fine, but some moments looked really good, and I'll get to those moments when we get there, specifically pointing them out. Now, don't get me wrong, the suit is nothing special. It is a fairly basic Spider-Man suit, but it does look nice. It does look satisfying to finally see him in the classic red, white, and blue. That's the American flag, Chris. The classic red, white, and that's it. Those are the only colors on the suit. The classic suit. I'm sorry. The point is, we see the new suit, and, well, I don't think it's the most amazing thing I've ever seen like the TASM suit. It is really nice to see this Spider-Man in a classic Spider-Man suit, and it makes me happy. But that's all I will yap on about the suit for, because there is so much stuff to talk about in these 2 episodes. And okay, lastly, before we get into the glaze session, you can skip to this time code if you don't want to hear this little ramble. This is something that really pissed me off in the episode, and it's really not that big of a deal, but it really was to me. At the beginning of this episode, we see Doc Ock in his prison cell, so why the fuck is he in his normal clothes? Like, gloves on and all. Why the fuck isn't he in his prisoner outfit? And then at the end of episode 10, he's in the fucking that shit pissed me the fuck. I don't know why it pissed me off so much, but it did. I thought I'd put this in here. Let's get to the good shit. Okay, so Doc Ock stuff aside, this episode starts out extremely strong with Spider-Man back at it, fighting the Scorpion for their final tango of the season, and this was a really good fight. Peter was absolutely locked in, dude. He was ready for it. We got to see some of Nico finally forgiving Peter right before the fight, and trust me, we'll get to Nico in a bit, because there's some things that piss me off there too. But I will say, this fight between the Scorpion was honestly really fucking badass. Peter and Lonnie teaming up to take him down after he gets, like, mutated from whatever's in Doc Ock's lab, turning him now fully into Tombstone, or slowly he's becoming Tombstone, which is crazy just knowing that, like, everything is coming together right at the end here. But this fight scene was really fun, though it almost has a bittersweet feeling to it, knowing where Lonnie's character is going to go and seeing how well him and Peter work together, even though Lonnie just got his powers. Like, with only having a couple minutes of fight time on screen together, they are a great fighting duo who are already popping up with some badass combos like they Deku and Bakugo. Oh my god, Marvel, you can't do this to me, please. And also, lo and behold, as I had predicted in one of the previous videos, we did get to see that darker version of Spider-Man where he might go too far, where he might lose it due to Norman's advice. Now, granted, this was a lot sooner in his story than I thought it would happen. I thought this would be happening as part of, say, the symbiote story, but it happened a lot earlier, and it kind of makes sense with what we got in episode 10. To be perfectly honest with you, I'm hoping this isn't the only Dark Peter moment we get in the series, but although this moment is brief, I do really love this moment and how it was Lonnie the one who stopped him from killing the Scorpion. I think that'll come to play way later down the road once he's fully Tombstone. But after they defeat Tombstone, Lonnie does get away and Peter goes to Nico and they have a little conversation there. They make up. There's nothing too crazy there, and the episode ends. Episode 9 was, for the most part, fully an action episode if we ignore that fucking Doc Ock scene. So overall, other than some little things, I don't have much much to say about this episode other than the action was great and it sets up great dynamics again for Lonnie and Peter / Spider-Man down the road. Also, again, sorry if you could hear my floor creaking or my mic moving. Once again, I still haven't gotten a new monitor. I'm recording in my room, so. The episode also ended in a wild way where Norman is up to something, and we'll get to that in episode 10, but it had me getting one question. Were they there the entire time he was on the phone, and thus they now know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, or did they get there as soon as Norman Osborn, hung up the phone? That's the only question I have. Let's get to episode 10. Episode 10, or as I would like to call it, possibly peak cinema, the greatest thing to ever be put on Disney Plus, was insanely fucking awesome. The episode begins with Peter Parker doing some, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man stuff. I don't care. I don't want to talk about that stuff. I don't care about the class stuff. I want to get at, we just got an insane plot twist for this, probably the biggest plot twist in any Disney Plus show. I keep saying that, but this show is so good. And a lot of Disney Plus shows aren't. I'm sorry, Disney. They're so bad. But man, okay, before I ramble on, let me run it back a couple minutes. So, Norman Osborn is trying to show them the combined efforts of what they've been working on during their internship at Oscorp, them being Peter and the other nerds. I don't remember their name, but Alex Lee voices one of them, my goat. But they arrive there to see that Norman had them making a multiverse intergalactic space traveling portal thing. And the absolute coolness of that aside, it leads to shit going down. It was a bad idea, I gotta be real. So they get there and Doctor Strange shows up and he's like, nah, you can't do this, this is bad. And Norman's like, nah, I got this, just watch, trust, on God fam, this is about to be a banger. This shit was not a banger, I'm sorry. Norman ends up opening the portal and releases the evil Venom creature we saw in the opening of episode 1. And this is where shit gets crazy, you gotta lock in for this. So chaos just ensues as soon as this Venom motherfucker comes up and he's throwing shit around. He's making a mess. Spider-Man comes in, and this is when shit gets real crazy. You gotta follow me here. Him and Doctor Strange are fighting, and then they go through this portal, and guess where they end up? They end up in episode 1, actually blowing my fucking mind. That's the sound I made, or something akin to that. Unhuman. I was free. My mind was blown. I was thinking something crazy was going to go on here with Doctor Strange being like, who the fuck are you? When Peter was like, yo, I saw you at Midtown. I was thinking, okay, then yeah, it's definitely multiverse shenanigans. Maybe we'll see another Doctor Strange. I was not expecting this to be how Peter got bit by the spider with time travel shenanigans. Time travel shenanigans is how this Peter got bit, which a lot of us were thinking in episode 1 was multiversal, and a lot of people didn't like that. Well, it turns out that the spider that Peter got bit from wasn't from the multiverse. The spider was almost made because of Peter and Norman. It's crazy time travel shenanigans is essentially it, and I kind of fuck with it. I think it is an insane plot twist that I've never seen in a previous Spider-Man show. It's something new, it's something unique. Yes, it's similar to say how Miles got bit into the Spider-Verse, but not exactly the same. Fuck, maybe it is and they just stole that idea. That would be kind of funny, I'm not gonna lie, but I don't think that's where the story was going at all. But man, that would be funny. But insane plot twist aside, that entire fight scene with Peter, Strange, and this Venom creature was a lot of fun. Peter goofing around, hanging out with Doctor Strange. It's something I missed from the MCU, and I'm glad we kinda got to see back in this version. Me personally, I always liked the relationship between Peter and Doctor Strange in the MCU, and I'm hoping we see that continue in season 2 and 3, with Strange not helping out or mentoring Peter necessarily, but popping in every so often for a team up or to say hi to Peter, teach him a couple things, just like hopefully Daredevil and stuff will, without controlling and more so being Peter's sensei, still letting him, do his own thing. But anyways, the fight wraps up with Peter closing the portal and a little bit of the symbiote getting left behind, possibly hinting symbiote storyline, hopefully coming into play at some point in the future. I would love to see that with this version of Spider-Man. But those are those are just hopes. It does seem like maybe Norman Osborn will be getting the symbiote suit. I think that would be a really cool switch and change from other versions of the character. There's a lot that the Spider-Man show could do given the time travel shenanigans and all the crazy reveals and stuff that we've had leading up to this moment, which we're still not done with. If, by the way. Because yes, Strange and Peter have a nice little conversation on the roof about being Spider-Man and the future and everything that happened. And yes, the Watcher was there from the What If series, kind of, I guess, showing us that this is like another What If scenario or whatever. I don't know. I don't really watch What If. The animation, I really couldn't get into it. And the story, I'm not a big episode of the week kind of person, so I kind of dropped that. I think I watched like the zombie episode and like a couple episodes because I'm a huge zombie fan. But other than that, I didn't give a shit for What If, and I didn't watch every episode. But I'm sure for big What If fans, that was a moment that maybe I actually don't know. So we're just gonna move on from this topic. But the last crazy plot twist we had right before the episode ended, and we got that beautiful, and I mean beautiful final swing, we'll get into that after. Peter's dad is still alive. This is something that isn't necessarily new to Spider-Man's character. TASM 2, underrated movie by the way, wanted to do this, kinda did this in the deleted scenes, and what I hope one day is still a director's cut for the movie. Release the web cut, please. I love Andrew. Please release the web cut. I wanna see what the movie would have been if Sony wasn't, Sony. But let me tell you, when this shit was revealed, I let out another audible what? Or some shit like that. I was dumbfounded, flabbergasted, you might even say. I'm a little vexed even. I don't know how to feel about this major plot twist. Why is Peter's dad in jail? Or was this Peter's dad? Or yeah, that was Peter's dad, right? That said Parker R. Richard Parker, right? I'm not bugging. Hold on, let me actually double check this before I sound like a dumbass. Okay, I was just verifying. I'm not bugging. I don't gotta re-record that. What the fuck, dude? This has gotta be that Oscorp type shit. Osborn, Oscorp. I can't speak. Holy shit. That's a crazy ass cliffhanger. I don't care what anyone says. This is by far the best Disney Plus MCU or Marvel show. Now, granted, I haven't finished X-Men 97. I only watched the first 3 episodes at the premiere down here in Toronto, at Comic-Con. And not that I hated it, I just didn't feel like I needed to keep watching it. I never really watched the original show, other than, Rogue's a baddie. That's all I gotta say about that show. But man, I'm loving Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Going in from thinking that this show is going to be utter dog crap, like literally being ready to become this show's biggest hater, and honestly falling in love with the show over these 10 episodes, and now salivating at the mouth for season 2 to come as soon as possible. I think it's safe to say I'm a fan of this show now. The show just keeps introducing ideas, themes, and characters and plot twists that keeps leaving me wanting more. This is a very satisfying Spider-Man show that gives you just enough to want to keep going, where you're not like, okay, it's a little boring, it's a little dry, but it still doesn't give you everything at once, and is holding a lot of stuff back. And it really seems like they have a plan, an idea, emotion for this series. I know there's a story that is going to be told here, and I'm so ready to see this play out from beginning to end. I honestly can't wait, man. I'm loving this show so much. Season 1 as a whole, I gotta give this shit like a 8 or 9 out of 10, maybe an 8.5, just because there's a lot of mid moments. The animation, like I said, it definitely needs to be desired. It $1 billion company we're talking about here. It should not be looking like this. It should be looking like a lot better than this. I mean, like, all I'm gonna say is look at this from your next quickly, and then look at this. Yes, I know one is anime, one is animation, but one is also from in comparison, extremely small, underpaid studio, and the other is a multi-billion-dollar huge company that is adapting one of the highest grossing, most financially successful, most popular, highest selling comic book characters of all fucking time. I will never excuse the animation in this show, the budget given to the show. It's not the animation studio's fault. Everything is Disney's. as they're the one giving the budget, giving the time constraints. I think Disney should have done a lot fucking better when it comes to the quality, the look, and the style of this show. I love what they were going for with the comic book mix, but this could have been done a lot better. It didn't even need to be in 2D, because look at this clip from Dragons Rising, look at this clip from Spider-Man. 3D animation can still work, it can still look beautiful, but you have to give it the love, care, and budget, or the team it requires. It's had a great team on the creative side, and I am not dogging on any of the animators. I'm sure they had a lot of fun working on this project. I'm sure the studio had so much fun, but they were only given as much time and as much money as they were given, and this is what we got. And for what we got, it was still an extremely great show. There were some beautiful moments of animation, like the final swing was. Why can't the show always look like this? It was actually beautiful. The movements were fluid. There was different colors, shadows, nice camera work, oh my god, it was beautiful. The final swing was gorgeous. It might be one of my favorite final swings, up there with TASM 1. It's a beautiful final swing. It feels so earned. Like, this Peter is Spider-Man now. He's becoming Spider-Man. He's still on his track to becoming the Spider-Man we know as a hero, but he has finally donned the suit, and we get our first proper swing in this suit, and I loved it. But that is it from me. I have yapped on far too long than I should have about only 2 episodes. I want to hear your viewers' thoughts down below. What did you think of this episode? What did you think of the plot twist? You think it was dumb? Are you excited for season 2? Are you preying on the show's downfall still? I want to know, because I know within my last video there's been a lot of people who are very mixed. Some people think this show is absolute dog water and mid, and I am being paid by Disney to gas up these shows and movies. And then there's the people who like it, or the people who just don't hate it. I gotta say, I really do appreciate all the people who are giving valid criticism, good or bad, in the comments. It's been fun debating with you guys and talking down there. So be sure on this episode for the finale, and let me know your thoughts. And if you guys did enjoy and you've been here for all these Spider-Man videos, be sure to hit that subscribe button, because I will be covering Daredevil Born again, as well as other MCU projects and other movies that come out. We're getting close to the big movie season. There's so much good stuff coming out, and we're gonna have so much good animes coming out as well. Demon Slayer, My Hero Academia, Vigilantes, and My Hero's final season. So much stuff coming out this year that I cannot wait to yap about, so be sure to subscribe for that. With all of that out of the way, thank you guys so much for watching. I had so much fun covering this series, and I will be back for season 2 whenever that may be. Hopefully it's not too long. So don't cry because it's over, but smile because it happened. I will see you, Dork Squad, in the next video. Peace out. Stay safe out there.